Hello, it is Robin here from Hooking Outside the Lines. Welcome. It's been a while. Today, I want to give you an update on this rug, but also sort of use it as an example for some common questions that I get asked all the time, which are all good questions when you are new to punching. Um, Even if you're new to rug hooking, some of the differences can be not that obvious. And so lots of questions come up, but I've had fun working on it. I think since the last time I posted, I've gone to a retreat, so I was able to do some over a whole weekend. Um, and this past weekend, not that I wasn't busy, I had other things, but I really spent time dedicated to it, which for me makes a difference. I have discovered that um, having a big project is different than a small project. Small projects, meaning sort of anything under 14 by 14, I can just pick up and punch for like 10 minutes or hook for 10 minutes and put it down. And there isn't a lot of disruption in my thought process. For some reason, I don't know if it's this particular one or if it's just bigger rugs in general. There's a bit more of a mental load for it. Like there's a bit more thinking that goes into it in terms of I need to sort of get into the rug and decide what I'm doing in it. And so I feel like now I've given myself permission, or I did, for example, on the weekend, and just like, I'm going to spend a few hours. So, yes, it might take me 10 to 15 minutes to sort of like, where was I? What was I doing? And sort of check over things I did in my last sort of punching session. Um, but that really helped me sort of make progress on it. So I have made some progress. I have still lots to do, and that is totally fine. But I thought I'm going to start with one of the questions I get asked the most, which is how much yarn do I need? And there are different charts on this, but I wanted to give you a visual of it with the needle sizes because that does affect things with these 2 colors specifically, because this one is the fine, and this is the background of this rug, and this is the rug weight. So the thicker, the bulky yarn that I use with the regular needles, is the border. So I'm gonna take this down and hopefully show you, um, give you a close-up. Sorry, I have to clean things up as I go, 'cause there we go. Oh, things are already falling. That is okay. So yeah, this won't all fit in the screen here, I don't think. Ooh. There we go. So, there we go, all of it. To give you an idea, this frame is 20 by 30 in height, and there is a few inches top and bottom, so I can't remember the exact measurements, but yeah, I wanna say it's about 24, high. So, like, the actual piece is about 24 inches high, and I think about 36, wide. So just to give you a scale, um, and what I have left, so this was a full skein that I used, this is the background color, and this is what I have left after doing all of this. So that is basically 1 skein of the blue, very light blue, and for those of you wondering what it is, this is Atlantic Coast, and it is just beautiful. A really soft blue, a little bit of purple in real life, not on my computer screen, but, um, anyway, that is Atlantic Coast. And I did the background here in a 14, which is fine. The 14 does not come in a regular, size, so the 14 means it has a really short loop. The height of the loop is an eighth of an inch high. And I wanted that on purpose to sort of sink back, and, in other photos I will take, you'll see the green stem is in a 10, fine, so it has height over. A 10 is a quarter of an inch loop. And so there is a good height difference between those 2, loops. The background really sort of sinks back. Um, so I hope that gives you an idea, and just as an example, I punched this late last night, and sometimes when I'm tired, I don't punch as well, and when I looked at it this morning, my loops were uneven, and, uh, it just wasn't pretty, so I took it out. And, that's how I have some of these bits left over, was from that, because I literally punched until I had no, um, yarn left, and I need to cake another skein. So I will do that, and I will finish this background. Now, the other part, the rug yarn, now, because the rug weight is so much thicker, like the bulkier yarn, you get less yardage. It's the same weight, in terms of how much a skein of it weighs. They're both about 4-ounce skeins, or about 113 grams per skein. Um, but the yardage is less because this is so much thicker. So it doesn't go quite as far. Now, with that in mind, I did punch the gray border here. This is not called gray, though. It's called Made in the Shade because it does have different grays, but also some browns in there, which is just lovely. And this is punched with where's my needle? 10 regular needles, so 1/4 of an inch loop. So again, there's a little bit of a height difference. And this, I again punched until I didn't have any yarn left. And so that is where one whole skein of rug weight yarn goes in this particular design. That being said, when you are planning a pattern like this, it is a bit tricky. And I'm just turning around so you can see, and I'm hoping if I can do this, I will probably be able to get away. I might not. I will probably need 3 skeins, like 2.5 of the gray. And let me look at the background. There is more chicken, or more rooster, I should say, in my rooster, and less of the blue background on the other half. So I might just need 1 more skein of the fine Atlantic coast for the rest of the background, because I think you can see, I don't know. There, the rooster takes up most of it and there's less background. So I hope that is helpful for those of you who wonder visually how much yarn does it take. The rule of thumb, and I'm putting my hand here because the rule of thumb, or hand, is around a 9-inch circle, which most women's hands is just under that. So if you imagine, and again, I'm holding this here, so I can't really do it, but a circle around my hand would give you about how much you could cover with a rug weight yarn. The fine yarn does cover more because there's more yardage. But just to give you an idea, so sometimes you'll see people actually lay their hand on a rug and get an idea of how much coverage that will be. Now, this is an estimate because if you punch tighter or higher, or if you like really long tails, because as you can see here, I'm going to show you. I keep my tails pretty short. Now, I've cut most of them, but you can see down here, 1 inch is the maximum height or length I leave on a tail. I have been in classes where some people like long tails. And if you do that, those tails add up. That amount of yarn that is being cut off, because it's waste at that point. If it's 6 inches, you can't really punch with it. And so that comes out of your yardage, and it means that you have less yarn to punch with. So keep that in mind when you are cutting or trimming tails, that keep them as short as possible. Not so short that they're falling through or you can't find them, but not so long that you're wasting, that amount of yarn each time. So another question I get asked often is, when do I cut the tails? And if you saw this 2 days ago, this was covered in tails. My answer is always, it depends. That is my answer to a lot of things. It depends on how you feel about it. The tails don't really bother me because I'm looking at the design from the back where I'm punching, and I can imagine what it looks like without the tails here. So it just, when the moment is right, I will do a whole bunch of trimming tails. I don't tend to trim them as I go, and I really like things to be filled out around them. One of the reasons I kind of wait is if I decide that I'm changing my mind on something and I'm going to pull it out, I want to save every inch of yarn. So if I've cut the tails and then I'm pulling it out, I've lost that bit of yarn that could have been used somewhere else if I had changed my mind, or I'm just fixing loops or something. So I do recommend, don't be too quick in cutting your tails until you're sure you're happy with everything. And then, of course, whenever you feel the need, cut a few at a time. It is easier to cut a few at a time on a size of rug this big than to do it all at once. Yeah. So my other dilemma, or thing that I'm coming to at this point, and I think it's easier here to show you, is I really want to emphasize, oops, this is an old cover I have on here. You can combine. This is often a question, and not so much for people that have been punching or hooking for a while, or that you follow me. You probably already know this, but if you're new and you're like, can I use fine needles? Can I use them with my regular needles? Can I use them with sari silk? Can I do this? Can I do that? And the answer is usually yes. If it works and gives you the effect that you like, then you can do it. So I always suggest to people to try. Like if you are curious about something, give it a go, see how it looks, and is it giving you the effect that you want? So, for example, my whole flower pot is in regular rug weight yarn. My green petals are in a combination of fine yarn and sari silk. So this green here is sari silk, and I did punch with it, and they are different heights. So some of my leaves sort of pop up more than other ones. Same with my flowers here. It is a combination of different yarn colors, mostly fine. Let me double check. Yeah, it is all fine, and then sari silk pink as well. And if you find your sari silk, because it comes, you never know how it comes. This is my knotted mess right now, in the pinks. Sometimes they're really thick, like wide strips. So let me pull one up here. It is quite wide, and some of the silks can be thick. Um, and so you might want to just rip it in half or cut it in half as you go. This green one, for example, is much thinner. Like all of them seem to be much thinner. And so they fit through my regular punch, no problem. So some of the things that you can do to play with different yarns, absolutely go for it. And or your fine and regular needles in one piece. I could have done this all in a fine yarn. I could have done it all with my regular needles. And that's fine too. If you don't have them, don't worry about it. But if you have the needles, this is a fun way in bigger projects like this to really mix them up. Now, one of the things I'm showing before I do it is my rooster's comb up here. I'm going to do that in sari silk with a sculpting process. I haven't exactly figured out 100% how I'm going to do it. It's one of those that I do it and then I figure it out. So more to come on that, but it's definitely, I have red sari silk. Oh, it's not here. And he's going to have some wild comb happening up there. Yet to be determined if all the geraniums are going to be the same color. I might play with that a little bit. On the other side, and my rooster himself, I think, is going to be a black and white rooster. So again, more to come. And there's his one little leg. And then I will move it. So that is sort of the third question that I guess asked all the time. Can I do a bigger rug, or bigger than my frame is rug? And yes, of course you can, with some caveats. It is tricky to move. You want to move it carefully so that when I'm putting this, like when I sort of slide this all over so it can stretch out the part that hasn't been punched, I want to be really careful on the side of the rug that I have already punched. I'm going to lay them down carefully and stretch them one time. And then when I go to pull them off or take them off of the gripper strip frame, I'm going to pull the sides that have no loops on them first and use the last part that is going to come off is going to be the side that has loops, and do it very gently and with a bit of a roll outward so that they don't pull. They literally kind of let go off the gripper strips, which are on the curved edge, which is one of the beauties of these kind of frames, is they really have a nice rounded edge, and it allows the loops to just sort of let go when they're on the last bit, as opposed to gripper strips that are flat. That's the only difference. Yeah, if you have questions, if you're like, but what about that I didn't get to in this, please let me know and I will happily answer them. Yeah, I've really enjoyed this. It's a fun pattern once you get going. It is pretty straightforward. One of the little things I thought of last night as well was I am into pink, as you can tell. I love pink, and I love the brightness of this pink. And this frame, I think I want it this wide, like as wide as the pattern is, because if you can see up here, the comb goes into it. So I want to emphasize that. But I might want to break it up a little bit, and I might put in a little thin line of pink in between, or I might be less flashy and do a different color, but do some kind of line in the frame of it or in the border of it, and then do another few rows of the made in the shade, the gray here. So let me know what you think. Do you like the pink? Do you like it flashy, or should I stick with something more neutral and do maybe the blue or a green or something? I don't know. I haven't quite got that far, but that is my update. And for those wondering about tails, I will see if I can do this for you here. Again, this is awkward. Why I like these angled scissors. Now they come in different sizes and they come with a little thing on the side. I can remember what it's called. Duck-billed ones. Let's see. We can do this. So you hold up your loop. I'm going to lower my camera a little bit so you can really see. That will be easier on me. And I hold it, giving it enough tension so it stands up nice and tall. And then you just lay the scissors on here as opposed to having to poke them in. Lay them and clip. And they literally, those tails will disappear into your rug. Here we go. And do them one at a time. It'll be worth it in the end. And there's always a process where I go back in and poke in place or park in place these little random loops that sort of flip-flop as I've gone along. I will do that when the rug is all done and before I press it, just to make sure everything is standing where I want. But this actually, I think you can get the feel for it here, where there is different heights of the needles that I use. So again, it could be done all in one, but I did choose to play with it. And the dark green outline is raised. Some of the sari silk definitely is raised as well. And the blue is really sunken in, and this one sticks up. So it's a lot of fun, and it gives you a chance to use your needles and feel the difference. One last thing. Oh, this is going to slide away. Here we go. Let's go on the floor. New gadget. Don't we all love gadgets? So this is my new yarn dispenser. It is made by Knit Pro, which is the company that makes Oxford punch needles now. So it is beautifully crafted. It spins like butter. I don't know how butter spins, but it's super smooth. So I was concerned because you don't want any tension. You know, when you're punching, you want it to slide through your needle perfectly. You don't want your yarn to be stuck in the slightest bit, or you won't get even loops. But this, it absolutely is smooth. It just rolls. You don't even feel it. And you can fit 2 at a time. So if you're like me and you always have like multiple skeins nearby, and once you cake them, you can fit them. And so even if you change colors, they can both go on here. Actually, probably could put 3. I haven't really tried that, but maybe if your one is smaller, or if you're doing 2 at a time. So if you are putting 2 strands, and I've explained this to a lot of new folks lately, that if you only have one needle, if you have a regular size needle, but sometimes you want to do things a little bit different, or you have abundance of finer yarns, you can put 2 or more strands in the regular size needle. And you just thread them like you would. Where'd my regular needle go? Here we go. So these 2 are both Violet Jane fines, but I'm going to put the 2 in, and you will get a really fun effect. You can do them in the same color. You can do them in a mix of colors. So see, I just threaded them, and I'm going to pull them back in. Oop. Here we go. Get them laying on top, and they will pop in. There we go. And now when you punch, you'll get some of each. Well, you'll get both of them in a variety of sort of fun ways. So it's a neat way to mix up colors. You can do slow sort of shading of something if you had more colors. And I highly recommend people to play with that so that you get use out of all your yarn that you might have. Even if you only have one needle, you can still use those finer ones. And if it's finer than these, you could put 3 or 4 strands. I've used tapestry yarn and done like 6 strands and really gone crazy with colors and stuff. So don't be shy. Oh, hi, Heather. Thank you. Yeah. So if you have questions, don't hesitate, reach out, put it in the comments. I always try and come back and reply to the comments. If you are new here and you are wondering, what am I doing? I do have a earlier video all about the different sizes of Oxford punch needle, and they could look like this or they could look like this. They're the exact same as long as they have Oxford on the end of them. That is the tools that I'm using. It just, these ones have the pretty handles, but otherwise they're exactly the same fit or size and everything. And if you're looking for more punching time and you're watching this before the end of April, April 24th, I do have an online hook-in where we're going to spend time working on a big project like this, but with support. So it's like going to hook-in, but you get to do it from home. I will put the link in the comments. And if you're looking to learn more about punch needle and want more comprehensive information, I do have an online self-paced course that has, I think, 20 something videos, mini tutorials that you can watch and learn. And then about once a month or every 6 weeks, I have a live Q&A on Zoom that you can come and ask me anything. And the next live is next Thursday, which for me right now is, oh gosh, April something. It is on my website. If I think April 26th, I want to say. Anyway, I can't believe it's be that soon or that late. I will put it in the comments of this if you are interested in learning more about Oxford Punch Needle, because there is lots more to learn. It is simple craft, but there is a lot of possibilities, a lot of creative fun you can have. And um, sometimes it's helpful to have somebody who's tried it all and therefore give you some tips on what is the easiest way or the way I've had success. And if you find out new ways, let me know because I'm always learning too. Thank you for watching.